Hi, my name is Will Kendrick, and I'm in the 5 p.m. COMM 201 class. And today I'm going to be giving an persuasive speech on why it is a bad idea to give kids technology at such a young age. Now, giving technology to kids is a good thing and a bad thing, but mainly it's detrimental to their mental health and their physical health. Kids today are obsessed with technology. Everywhere you go, you'll see a kid with an iPad, a kid with an iPhone, or they're just not really involved, and you can clearly tell that they're disengaged. Like if you go to a restaurant and you see a family, most likely they'll be at the table and everybody's on their phones, or everybody's on their iPads, or whatever they bring. Personally, for me growing up, these devices never really came into play until about 8th or ninth grade. So I remember when I was young, I would go outside, run around in the woods behind our house, ride my bike, my scooter, whatever, with all the other kids in the neighborhood. Now, giving technology to kids can affect them in three different ways. It can affect their childhood and how their brain develops, and it can also kind of disrupt how they experience life and how they interpret it and see it. And then there's always the argument of, well, how old is too old to give your kid technology? Technology is everywhere, but for young people, it's kind of hard to figure out when the line of when we should integrate it and when we should keep them separate, because it's becoming ever more present in society and you're kind of having to depend on it more and more. So it's really, really hard to keep your kid away from technology because it's just everywhere. According to Nancy Gerbetti, in an article titled The 5 Stages of Brain Development, between 0 and 6, the brain typically is developing in things like reasoning, emotions, memory, planning, habits. Those things are starting to form. And in this time period, the brain needs nurturing from the mother or parental figures, not an iPad. A very common thing today is the mom or the dad needs to clean, do laundry, cook, and they give their kids the iPad, they give their kids the phone, they tell them to watch TV. While that's a good distraction, it can also be detrimental to their health because they're not experiencing anything. They're just simply watching a show with a plot, with the exposition, the climax, the resolution. There's not really anything productive going on. They're just kind of sitting there doing nothing and wasting their time when they could be doing other things like going outside, making a craft, just something fun and creative. Now, when moving away from that, when you're getting older, from about 7 to your mid to late 20s, gray matter is forming, which is like your memories and controls, your impulses, your memories, kind of core memories are starting to develop, and you're learning to communicate with others, and you're also your morals and values are developing. So with the internet and social media and everything, how easily are you influenced? How easy is your kid influenced? Are they influenced by this YouTuber, by this Instagram, by this style? The trends and the fads are a lot more accessible than if you just have to experience them, like walk around in town and see who's wearing what. Whereas you can go on the internet, on the Instagram, and you can just scroll and scroll and scroll, and just see whatever. Children compare themselves to others, and technology is a big part to blame of this. You go on Instagram and you see somebody has 500 followers and you only have 200. Well, then you feel like, oh, I don't know that many people. Or if you get 400 likes but your friend gets 800 likes, then you're thinking, oh, why am I not as popular as them? When that's just not really true. According to the Center for Mental Health, I think it's in Britain, as of 2020, social media does two things. It causes instant gratification, so you get a like, you're like, oh cool, somebody likes this. If you don't get a like, you get upset. In real life, people don't go around saying, oh, I like that, I like that, I like that all the time. It's just kind of you gotta live day by day, live in the moment. They also talk about something called FOMO, which is fear of missing out. A lot of people are afraid to not be on social media because they're afraid to miss out on their friends. They're afraid to miss out on their friends' prom photos, on their friends' weddings, on their friends' travel vacations. They're afraid of missing out on the trends and the fads and the memes and everything else that internet culture has with it. And so they feel like if they're not online, then they're a loser. They're missing out. They're not going to understand pop culture. And that's another thing where it kind of comes into the mental health of, well, we're just becoming too dependent on it, and our society's revolving around it, so it's really hard to keep it away from the young kids when everyone is using the moms, the dads, the teenagers, the old people. Social media also has some physical effects, and technology also has physical effects, such as disrupting your sleep pattern. The blue light emitted from your screens can trick your brain into thinking it's daylight and actually reduce or slow down the rate of melatonin release, which is the natural hormone we use for sleep, which can kind of disrupt your circadian rhythm, which is your body clock, kind of telling you, oh, I need to go to bed, oh, I need to wake up. And that can be, so if you get up in the middle of the night to check your phone for a couple minutes, then that can completely disrupt the melatonin cycle. It can also lead to unrealistic expectations. If you're watching, as a 6-year-old, if you're watching TV and you see a supermodel and you go, I want to look like that. But if you're a little overweight, then you're going to all of a sudden be, why am I like this? Why am I ugly? Why am I not like that? Your self-esteem is just going to go out the window. And so technology is great, but it creates kind of a self-esteem issue. And technology is a blessing and a curse. Personally, I love it because I can just do everything very easily. It's at my fingertips. But at the same time, everything is at my fingertips. When kids experience the world through their eyes, I remember running around and I would just experience nature and new experiences, and that was a lot of fun. But now kids can just Google anything, YouTube it, Instagram it, whatever, and they're not having to be creative. They're not having to come up with ways to pass the time. They can also lead to uncensored material popping up on their screen. As a kid, I can kind of see what I'm looking at, and my parents can see it. If I'm in my room on my phone, I'm the only one that can really see it. According to Business Insider 2020, there are parents in Silicon Valley raising their kids technology-free. The kids are happier, they're more creative, and they're living in a better society detached from these screens. So I bring all this information to you today to kind of help you see how technology can benefit us in society, but also giving it to kids at a young age is kind of an issue in which it'll impact them mentally, physically, emotionally, and kind of their overall development. And there's not really a right age to give a kid technology. It's just kind of slowly integrating it and kind of allowing them to experience it and express themselves with it, but then also letting them understand the implications of this is dangerous, but it's also for your benefit. And that is the reason why I'm giving this persuasive speech today.